Hi, DPR Jones here. Unfortunately, time is too short to go into the techniques of cold reading in this video, but I do have a challenge for John Edward. Dear John, I am working on a charity event on the 12th of September. If you genuinely possess the powers you claim, then please accept the James Randi Educational Foundation $1 million challenge and donate the proceeds to the charity. I know that you're aware of the challenge, John, but in case you have forgotten, here is James Randi explaining it again.
We offer $1 million prize to any person or persons who can provide evidence of any paranormal, occult, or supernatural event of any kind under proper observing conditions. It's that simple, friend.
I know that you have previously refused to take up the challenge because, as you said,
contact. A guy who picked that mantle up is a guy who offered you $1 million. His name is the Amazing Randy. That was his stage name. Offered you $1 million. He says he can debunk you. Why would you not take that money? And
it's funny. I was on Larry King Live once. They asked me the same question, and I made a joke, and I'll say the same thing here. Would I allow myself to be tested by somebody who's got an adjective as a first name, or would I go to do what I did, which is I went to the University of Arizona and participated with the Human Energy Systems Laboratory, among other people who do this, where they were taking this more credibly and serious.
Right.
You know, and I didn't go there to be tested because of any other reason except I was curious. Like, you know, there was a scientist who wanted to try to measure this in some way. And I think it was, you know, interesting. And for people who want to learn more about some of the preliminary things that were done, there's a book out called The Afterlife Experiments.
So what is James Randi's opinion of John Edward?
Where is John Edward, for example, who speaks with the dead? The guy on the Sci-Fi Channel and now syndicated in something like 380 stations around the United States on TV. This guy says he speaks with dead people. Oh, really? Well, we did a bit of investigation on John Edward, and I was sent a videotape by, I think it was Inside Edition, and they said, we'll allow you to choose a part of this videotape to make comments on. And I said, well, to be perfectly fair, I will take, say, the first minute of it, so that I won't select through for something that proves my point. And so I just put the videotape machine on, and Andrew Harder stood at my side, and we watched the opening of the show. We only used the first 45 seconds. That was quite sufficient for our needs. In 45 seconds, confronted with a gentleman sitting in the audience with his wife, the gentleman who said that he wanted to contact the spirit of his deceased father, he knew that much, and the audience knew that much. He took 45 seconds to make 23 guesses. That's more than one guess every 2 seconds. You have to really speak quickly to do that. Transportation business, I see something about a train, there's a uniform involved, and they say, I have to go out, it goes on and on and on like this, very quickly. We slowed it all down, and we played it back, transcribed it. Now, during that 45 seconds, from the beginning to the end, the man started to cry. The tears came down his face. He began to sob, and he was doing this kind of a thing, and his wife had her arm around him, and he turned to her, and he says, that's him, that's him. 23 guesses. 20 of them were wrong. The 3 that were right, now that's 87%, friends. If your kid came home from school with 13 out of 100 on a test paper, you'd be alarmed, wouldn't you? But apparently not with John Edward, because that's enough. They don't need it to be any more than that. But what were the 3 that were right out of the 23? A, this man is dead. He's an older man. And there's a younger man connected with him. Yeah, the guy sitting right there in the chair. Those were the only 3 things that were right. He had nothing significant to tell this man, and yet this man was reduced to tears and sobbing. That's how easy it is to be what we call in the trade a cold reader. That's the technique. It's a game of 20 questions, really. Now, we've challenged endless number of times John Edward to come for the $1 million prize.
So, John, you have said,
have any business. And I'm like, listen, it's not about business, it's about teaching. I said, and if I could, you know, raise somebody's awareness.
And James Randi has said,
That simple. All they have to do is do what they say they can do and walk away with $1 million.
So, John, will you do it? Remember, you have said that
I don't have any business. And I'm like, listen, it's not about business, it's about teaching. I said, and if I could, raise somebody's awareness.
So teach us, and make some money for charity, as Randi says.
That simple. All they have to do is do what they say they can do and walk away with $1 million.
So will you do it? If not, why not?